What is up, Mactown Disc Golf? We are back at it. You missed your cue a little bit. We're back at it again with the chain out.
Oh, I didn't chain out that one. I'm too good at putting. I made it.
And that's it for today, guys. We'll catch you guys next week on Mactown. I'm just kidding. Guys, we're back here. Another podcast. Hey, I want to say this. Our last podcast did pretty well. A lot of people watched that, listened to that. So thank you guys for doing that, for listening, for following along. It's great. We love it. My name's Elijah. Everyone say your name, I guess.
Ryan, it's down here.
Oh yeah, there's a little wait.
Sir? Wait. My name is Corbin.
Corbino. People probably are confused because it says Corbino.
Well,
or is it Corbino?
No, it's Corbino. It's a little nickname.
It's longer than your name, though.
Yeah, but sometimes nicknames are
alternate names.
They're not shortened names. They're just different names for you.
Do we need to Google the definition of a nickname?
Yeah, Google definition of a nickname for sure.
That's no.
It's an alternate name.
Okay, the Boyd kicker, we called him Iceman, but we don't know.
A familiar or humorous name given to a person or thing instead of or as well as the real name. So it doesn't necessarily have to be shorter, I guess.
All right, you got me there.
Thank you,
Corbino.
Hey.
And today, guys, we are talking about none other than the Play It Again Sports Jonesboro Open presented by Westside Discs. Why are their titles just ridiculously long for no reason?
I don't know.
Insane. They can't be paying you that much.
Why is it the Play It Again Sports Jonesboro Open, but it's presented by Westside, even though Play It Again Sports is the sponsor?
Do they have to have a disc sponsor, maybe?
Does everyone have a disc sponsor?
I feel like...
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Lone Star did last.
It was like Texas State had... Yeah, Texas State was Lone Star. Waco's Prodigy.
Austin was Flight Factory, though, I thought.
Was it presented by Flight Factory Discs? Or
I think it was.
You know what's weird, though?
But isn't Flight Factory like a retailer? Like, aren't they like Infinite?
It's not a brand. I think it's a retailer.
It is a retailer. But what's crazy, though, is the watching coverage, Flight Factory is everywhere at Jonesboro.
True.
Yeah, because they still buy ad spots.
I mean, it's everywhere. Everywhere.
They put it on the little, whatever, koozies, things on the baskets. And they've also got all those banners all around the LB.
Well, speaking of sponsors, I think we should just shout out Upper Park Disc Golf.
Hey, yo.
Sponsor. Hey, look at this guy.
Use code MACTOWN at checkout at upperparkdiscgolf.com. Use code MACTOWN. That's MACK Town at checkout for 15% off.
15%?
That's right. 15% off.
Yo.
I don't know any other creator that's giving 15% off. So.
No, we got the special deal, so make sure you go do that. They got lots of good stuff. I'm actually using one of their bags right now. Corbin's kind of back and forth with the bag. So they're pretty good. Pretty good, man. Well, let's dive into this past weekend, Jonesboro Open. We've actually played this course before, me and Corbin. Ryan, have you played it?
I have not. It's on my list, though.
Lame. We should go play. It's like 6 hours away.
We should.
We need to hit up that, and we need to hit up Persimmon Ridge up there in Arkansas as well.
Oh, yeah. We're not talking about this, but shout out Jeremy Colin winning that tournament from the Chase card.
What a guy.
From the Chase card.
What a baller.
I feel like I don't know if he always threw far, but I feel like he's throwing farther now.
I think he's always thrown far.
I guess when I just started playing disc golf, he was the old guy that did Jome's broadcast.
Yeah.
And I never thought that he was like actually kind of decent, but
he rips.
He's put together some performances. Yeah.
He has all the tools for sure.
He does.
Well, let's dive into this. So Jonesboro, it's kind of the course wise, it's definitely longer open holes. You can definitely get in OB trouble, but there's not like so much where it's like annoying. Really fun throwers course, in my opinion. Very windy this weekend, and so that definitely played a lot into how it played out, especially the last round. And so let's start with FPO real fast. We will not stay long on FPO because honestly, it was a blowout, an absolute blowout. Kristen Tatar absolutely spanking everybody.
Wow,
Right?
right? Chrissy's Tatar card.
Chrissy Tatar's. But do you have a Kristen Papar?
No, she didn't do a lot of that though. She had a whole lot of birdies this weekend. Without her in it, it actually would have been pretty interesting. Because I mean, she beat Holland Hanley, who came in second by 9 strokes.
And
Evelina
I would say
at 12 under.
I would say she beat Holland handedly.
Yes, she did beat Holland handedly. Ba-bumch. Dad jokes already.
Yes.
That's got to be one of the worst things I've heard.
But yeah, if Kristen hadn't showed up, it looks like it would have been a really interesting tournament, especially because on the last hole, Evelina made a bogey and Holland made par to flip-flop positions, and Holland finished second, Evelina finished third. But yeah, for the most part, it was still the same disc side of heaven course. They moved some of the holes around, so it was a different layout, but I don't know how much they actually changed the holes themselves. But like you said, it was super windy. There was no James Conrad 17 down this year like there was last year.
Yeah, it was way different than the other layout. But there's a lot of holes that were the same. They kind of just flipped the flow of everything to make sense a lot more, which I really liked for down the stretch. The down the stretch made it so interesting. They kind of called it like birdie alley type of, like, it's a kind of birdie or die the last 6, where it's like there's an eagle in there, and then you really want to birdie the rest of them. And then 18 is kind of like a, you can easily bogey that hole. And so if you go for it, so definitely a really, really good layout. I think I like it more than the old layout. I like having the island hole at the back because it was hole
15.
Yeah. So that was
Wade Sides aced it both times.
Yeah, shout out Wade Sides, 16 years old, aced it in 2 rounds. That's insane. His little brother is 14, also playing in MPO.
Nice.
They're out there, dude. They're out there.
This is nuts.
But Kristen Tatar, minus 10 first round. Second place was Evelina. She had a -4, so had a 6-stroke lead. Shot a -8, then the second round, and then the last round only shot a -4, but won by 9 strokes to second place.
Yeah.
Between her and third place, it was 10 strokes.
Yeah, essentially just lapped the field.
Yeah, that's just insane. That's insane. So, is she washed?
No,
or is she back?
Obviously not.
Is she back?
I mean, it was a thrower's course, and so I think it set up nicely for her game. And the fact that she can also putt really well helps her out. And so I think it was just more of a blip on the radar kind of thing. For her less than really dominant play. That we seem to have not had or not seen. But I mean, it looked like she's back to being Kristen.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about it on Saturday a little bit, but like the keys to winning on the Pro Tour, it's like drive well, throw your fairways and mids well, and then putt well. And if you do all of those things, you really have a good chance of success. And that's just what Kristen does. She just does all of those things really well.
Yeah, and it's like there's other things you could do, but like drive.
If you do those, you're good.
Throw, putt. That's pretty much all you do.
I mean, if you can throw and putt really well, like at a high level, you're probably going to do pretty good.
Right. Yeah, I mean, pretty impressive. I did go back and look, and a lot of the wins here are usually blowouts for FPO. Paige has had a couple that have been 7, 8, 9. So definitely throwers course. distance really helps on a course like this, which is funny because Kristen doesn't necessarily have the most distance, but definitely has the distance with the control, which is everything on this course for sure. So
Yeah, it's
Just
a lot
doesn't
about
seem
that.
to get herself in trouble.
right.
I think experience
Um,
on this course also pays off. Some of the holes you just kind of have to know the hole really well, and you have a good chance at success. And so, I don't think it was a surprise to see everybody behind her. But I do think upcoming years, now they played the layout once, maybe next year, she might win by 4 or 5, but maybe a little bit closer competition next year.
For sure. For sure.
some surprising finishes. Ellie Ezra Midling, tied for 5th, 6 under. She's 16-year-old.
Ooh,
She's the one that
what
like
the heck?
rips.
Yeah, she's the one that won the distance comp at All Star Weekend
Mm.
and threw it like 505 feet or something crazy. Owen Scoggins almost lost by 20 strokes, which is kind of surprising, seeing as how she kind of started her year.
Well, to
And
go
then
on real fast on Own, she had a really, really bad first round. She shot a +5 in her first round. And so if you compare it to the other rounds, she shot a -4 the rest of the 2 rounds. Or sorry. She ended at -2.
she ended at -3.
Oh, -3. So yeah, she shot
Yeah.
a 4 down, 4
Was
down.
that
Yeah.
8 strokes better over the next 2 rounds. Another surprising finish was Missy Gannon finished at 4 over for the weekend.
Mm.
No money, bro.
So yeah, no money.
No
So
money
she just
missing.
said, I'll let everybody else try to get it. Yeah, that's really all the story that there is for FBO.
I was shocked that Jana Booth shot a +22. You all know Jana. She's from Conway, Arkansas. Kind of a local pro there.
Wow, local pro.
896 rated. So kind of shocking to see that. Jana, we believe in you. So next time we'll kind of be cheering you on.
Definitely. Music
For
City. I'll be watching out for Miss Booth.
There's a girl named Tiger Borth. Tiger is her first name. Borth. Borth.
Interesting.
Borth.
Got to be in like Norway or something.
She's from Missouri.
No way. That's crazy.
Probably Mizzou Tigers right there. That's why.
That's why.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it for FPO. If you didn't watch it, Kristen dominated. I don't really think there's too much to go off of there to talk about. We'll kind of see what happens in the next tournament and kind of see if she can put together a good run of disc golf. So, I mean, she got second in the last event, so it's not like she's playing bad, but
No.
she's got 2 out of 6, so that's very good. And she wasn't at the first one, so she's really got 2 out of 5.
First repeat FPO winner this year now.
Yeah, that's right. No, wait. Yeah. No, wait.
Wait.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Jana will have something to say about that, but let's move on to MPO. I think there's a lot to talk about here.
Oh my gosh.
Were y'all watching this live?
I was bouncing back and forth between the Masters and this, trying to like make sure I knew what was going on.
Freaking loser, dude.
Ball golf?
Go Scotty Scheffler.
This guy, who's
Yeah,
the Scotty Scheffler of disc golf?
I guess Anthony Barella.
Anthony, bro.
He hasn't won a major. So what do you guys say about that?
Well, since
Calvin
he hit his
Heimberg
prime,
did?
he hasn't had a chance.
So maybe
yet.
what about Isaac?
Oh,
No.
2 majors?
Isaac is kind of known as a like really accurate thrower, and Scotty's known as like one of the top ball strikers. That might be a good comp. Might be a good
What?
comp.
Dude,
But-
I'm not going anywhere around that, dude. Good
My
time.
dad, that's what I
But
once said about me too.
speaking of Isaac, he did actually kind of show up this week, which kind of feels like it's the first time this year that he's really popped up at one point. He had the hot round in the second round, shot
Mhm.
11 down, and was tied for first place going into the final round. And then the final round, everybody just kind of went crazy there for a little bit. Isaac just had a very ho hum, tons of
Ho-hum.
pars day. Shot even par and finished in 10th place, tied with Mason Ford, Elisha's guy over there.
Let's go, Mason.
But Calvin showed up for a while there. It was looking like he was about to come back, take it down for the third year in a row.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? He was trying to defend for the third year in a row. Ben Calloway showed up kind of out of nowhere. He was hovering around the top 5 all weekend long.
Bro,
Had
Ben
the lead.
hold on. Ben Calloway, we need to talk about this. He needs to be studied for his choking. That
Is this not the first time?
the late game choke needs to be studied. Let me tell you what happened. How are you gonna chain out from 17 feet when you're in the lead of a tournament? Left side. You just missed. How are you gonna do that? Obviously, I do that all the time, but you're 1026 rated, so I have a little leeway here. Right? I mean, obviously didn't shoot great, like in terms of like wasn't a hot round the whole time, but like you said, he was kind of hovering in the lead, goes into the backstretch and he kind of just isn't clutch. He just didn't show the clutch.
I mean, he birdied 12, 13, 14, parred 15, birdied 16, parred 17, and then with the new hole 18, he didn't want to play it safe. He knew that he had guys behind him that were chasing. Got aggressive, landed out of bounds, and ended up taking a bogey.
Yeah, when it'll be on 17-2, deep. So 2 OBs to finish off his tournament to lose is I guess you could say unfortunate, but
Let me ask you this.
I don't know.
Do you think do you think he should have laid up on the last hole? Because he lost by 1 stroke and took a bogey on the last hole going for it.
I mean, it's always hindsight 2020. I think in my mind, do you feel like you can beat Anthony Barella in a playoff, or if Ezra or if Calvin birdies it, like if there's 3 or 4 other guys that are all right there close to you and you have to possibly go into a 4-way playoff, do you think that you can keep going?
Well, it's not
Or do
even
you
like,
want to try to go and win it? Like if he goes and he makes it, he makes a birdie, then he's at 25 under, and somebody has to ace it to tie him.
I think it's the difference between playing checkers and chess. He put all the pressure on himself rather than putting all the pressure on somebody else. And pressure kills people, especially someone who like AB who's struggled with pressure in the past. Like I'm saying, I'm laying up, taking my par, knowing he has to stick this little island and make the putt to even tie me. And then we can go play off wherever you want. But for me personally, I would not risk going. Like that's a tough shot.
Yeah,
And then
and
I don't know.
just it's not like it's not him either. Like he's not the huge power hyzer guy, and he probably has that shot, but it's not like AB or Calvin or the other guys who throw that kind of nonchalantly. Like that's probably one of the tougher shots that he had to throw all tournament. And so just I think for him in that position, probably. If it was somebody else, I would say definitely go for it. But I think for him, it probably would have been the smarter decision.
Yeah, I mean, AB had birdied it the last 2 days, I think it's the kind of thing like I'm either going to win this on my own, or I know that I'm also going to take the chance to possibly lose this. But like, I want to go and win this and take this right now, kind of thing. And it bit him, right? Because that's the thing. If he makes par, then if he at least gets it across and makes par, then then he kind of looks silly because then he's still probably going into a playoff. But if you knowingly lay up near the drop zone and then lay up again, or and then pitch up and then make your par, it looks like, okay, I'm playing for a playoff, because AB had birdied it every day, or Friday and Saturday previously. And so, like, if you lay up and then the guy behind you comes out and birdies it and beats you by one, now how does that look? Because now, like, you get what I'm saying?
Well, it's like he can't beat him by one because he can only tie him. That's what I'm saying. Like, if he just plays for par, he's putting all the pressure on AB to tie him.
No, because he went into hole 18 24 under.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
And,
that's
right.
And
bogeyed,
he would have had a putt.
18.
But I mean, his putt was that he had. Obviously, he wasn't in the situation where he had to birdie, but his putt that he had was a 40-footer straight at OB. Like,
for Callaway or for AB?
For AB. That he ended up getting the layup. But Calvin went OB, so he got to lay it up. But if Ben Callaway was at 24, he would have had to make a 40-footer to win straight at OB.
But at the same time, like, if Anthony Barella knows that, hey, I have to make birdie here and then to go into a playoff, Anthony Barella can then play that hole a little bit differently, play it more aggressively, not have to land so far left of the pin to have a 40-footer.
No, he actually almost landed OB right, and he went past the pin. And that hole is one hole where it's like, if you're going for the island, you really can't get more aggressive than that, because it's a 500-foot hyzer. And so that is the aggressive play, is actually just trying to get it there. And he did that no matter what. And so I think if I was Ben Callaway, laying up for the par, if he sticks it and hits his putt, so be it. Because like Elijah said, I think the pressure aspect of it is so much greater than I'm going to do a shot that is a little bit out of my wheelhouse to try and just win it. Ben Callaway is not in that echelon of player to be like, I'm going to just win it.
Ben Callaway, he birdied it Saturday, and he parred it on Friday. He was C2 on Friday. He was C1 on Saturday. But like, and so I don't know what the wind was like. And so Ben Callaway's he's not a noodle arm. Like, he's got the distance. He can throw the 500-foot hyzer. He can get it. He can make it there. So, like, in my mind, like, if I know the dude behind me can throw just as far and definitely further than me and has a chance to birdie to tie me, why would I not try to go for the birdie and just win it outright? Because he's also got the same amount of chance to go out of bounds and also make bogey, and then we're still in a playoff.
We talked about it at Waco too with Gannon and Luke Humphreys, where it's a very, very similar situation. They're on the same card, obviously, but like, it's a very similar situation where Luke Humphreys is not in that echelon of player to say, I'm going to do this really hard shot that I may or may not hit to try and just win this outright.
Yeah.
Like, in that position, you have to play chess. Like, you have to.
Well, and in a different podcast or an interview, Luke said he was trying to lay up. Yeah. And it didn't work out. He ended up finding the one OB green.
Yeah, and I think to kind of put a bow on this, I think you can choose either way. I think what makes AB, I think part of what has made that so easy for him is like he was chasing, but also he's already won twice. So it's like there's really no pressure on him to go, and even like 12 holes in, like no one was like AB's going to win this. So like the pressure's kind of off of him. He can just go throw. Callaway, obviously being chased is way harder in my opinion, because you have to just play a little smarter I wished he would. I mean, who knows what would have happened if he would have tried to play a little smarter? Who knows? But I do know that hole 1, which would have been the first hole of the playoff, Callaway did not birdie one time. So an AB put he birdied it once and then put it really close and missed a putt on the last day. So I think looking ahead, you could go, okay, well, I'd rather fight the demons now, that type of thing. But he did choke. I think it sucks because this is like his tournament. Like last year, he was in the same position and Calvin caught him, or Calvin beat him. So
spit out OB.
Well, and Calvin
was tough.
And Calvin was right there too, though. I mean, Calvin, you know, on the tee of 18, went for it, and he ended up catching the tree short left, went out of bounds, and made bogey. But Calvin was right there in the same thing. He was trying to go to stay, to try and stay tied with AB, to try and stay in it, to still try to go to win it, and ended up still losing by 1. And so, but we're not talking about Calvin doing it while chasing. We're talking about Callaway doing it while in the lead, even though AB had a hole to play.
Because Calvin had to, because AB was parked, or not parked, but AB was putting. So,
but that's the thing. Like if I'm being chased, I'm assuming that the guys behind me also have the pressure. Because
the pressure's on you, not on them. It's on you until you do something to put the pressure on them. So like Calvin, the pressure was on him because AB parked it. But up until that point, if AB lays up, there's no pressure on Calvin to park it. I think it's just all about where you put the pressure. Dude, I was so bummed. I was obviously cheering for Calvin. I love Calvin. I was cheering for him so hard. And freaking hole 10, probably the hole he plays better than anybody else in the world. He takes he hits super early, goes left OB, tries to get out, hits a tree 20 feet in front of him, takes a 6. And that right there was like, oh my gosh. One thing I did take note of, he didn't throw one forehand this whole. He's not throwing forehand because of his injury.
Still nursing that elbow injury.
I mean, to be in it, and I've played Jonesboro, there's a lot of forehands.
There's a lot of forehand.
So to be in it and not having your forehand is pretty crazy, actually.
We say that the forehand's important, but then James Conner shot 17 down last year. So
yeah, and Isaac's in it, and
yeah. So
sure.
I mean, but I mean, like you said, we played it, and I was throwing forehands, and I don't like throwing forehands. So
there's less drives, I guess, forehand than I would say. Like there's a lot of like second shots that like you want to like I'm thinking of that specifically. I think it's hole 16. It's the par 4 where you're like trying to sneak in the trees. He had to throw it over and crash it rather than try to go through the little forehand gap because he didn't have the forehand. So small things like that. I'm like, dude, I wish he was fully healthy, but I hope he can kind of get some momentum and get a win off of this for sure.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Corbin for saying AB is not going to win again, and then he wins 2 in the first 5.
Took that personally.
3 out of the first 5 is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say like I knew what I was doing there because I know he needed that extra bit of pressure. So, I actually had a dream about it last night. I remembered that a couple months ago, I said to somebody that AB was going to win 3 of the first 5. And I don't know. I just remember saying that to somebody, and
that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
So you kind of
all I've been thinking of is just the quote from Happy Gilmore, just where Happy learned how to putt. Because Happy Gilmore could drive it further than everybody else, but he just couldn't putt. And then it seems like AB figures out that little step putt from like that 35 to 45 feet is just ridiculous for him right now.
Yeah, so let me just tell you what AB did. So he was even through 12, and then he went birdie, the eagle on 14, where Callaway has it looked like a 40-footer, but there is OB around, but chooses to lay up. Calvin doesn't lay up, but he kind of has a bad putt. But then AB just freaking cans it from 60. It's like choosing to lay up there, I think, is like, it's just that mentality. It is that mentality thing where AB winning gives him the opportunity, and chasing gives him the, the momentum to go, hey, I'm gonna just run this because what do I have to lose? That type of thing. But can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, someone's trying to FaceTime me right now, so I don't know why.
I'm getting it on this camera on this computer too.
Nice. Okay. Well, so AB, congratulations, 3 out of 5. He's in rare air. I mean, like, this is like Macbeth 2019 was the last one to do this. Do you think he could get 4 of 6
At Music City next week?
Music City?
I mean,
Corbin, dare you say something?
Yeah, go ahead and let Corbin say no, so then we can know that, like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put money on AB. I mean, I'm not saying no at this point. He's clearly got the hot hand right now this year. He seems comfortable. He's not making very many mistakes, and it doesn't seem like there's a course that can contain his distance. And if he's within 50 feet, 60 feet with an open look, his putting's just kind of dialed right now.
I can't bet against him, but I just feel like it's got to be somebody else, and I think that because we saw in this tournament, this is the closest one out of all the tournaments, and as far as people in contention, going down the stretch. I mean, what was it? We have 4 people within 1 stroke, and then we have all the way down to 10th, or 9th, technically tied 7th, in
within 4,
within a couple strokes. So it's like it seems to be getting closer and closer, and as terms of people in contention. And when I think of Music City, I don't think of an Anthony Barella type player. Like you said, his distance cannot be contained, and his putting is amazing. So really, any course is his type of course. But at the same time, I think we could see somebody who might fit the course a little bit better, have a good weekend, and take it. Who that is, I have no clue.
Maybe a Simon.
Yeah, it was good to see Simon play good.
Is he going next week?
I don't know.
I think
I
this
won last year.
I think is either this is going to be his last one, or Music City is going to be his last one, because they're about to have their second kid, and so like he's about to take his break in the middle of the season.
That makes sense.
Go back home.
Huh. Well, hey, I want to give
he kind of popped off this week too.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. Dude was doing great. He had a really funny Simon moment on a hole where he threw it like he turned his hat around, which is just it's like the first sign that things are about to explode. He's like in contention, and he throws it like 700 feet into the air, and the wind just catches it, and it literally on camera you just see it like fall like 50 feet in front of him, and he's just like it's so funny.
Trying to throw the Simon line and just got absolutely killed by the wind.
He's trying to promo his discs, dude. He was like, I got to start throwing Simon lines again. But
my player that I want to shout out was Chris Dickerson. Getting into the 20 unders, top 10 again. I'm pretty sure he was top 10 last week. I'm not completely sure. But he's starting to find his form. He's starting to be that Chris Dickerson that we know, where he's up there, but he's not winning. Kind of like, what was it, a couple years ago where he finished first in points, but didn't really win anything.
Didn't win.
And so it's like he's starting to get back to that. And I like to see that because I think he's a player who can challenge for some wins maybe this year. Maybe Music City in Tennessee, kind of him type of course. And he's from there. So that could be something. But I like to see him getting his form in. And starting to put in some results.
Heck yeah.
Who had Kevin Kiefer being on lead card with hot round at any point this year on their bingo card.
Yeah, I called that. Corbin was actually telling me something about this like weeks ago. I'm just kidding. That was crazy. That was crazy, man. Where did he finish? 19th?
Yeah,
Terrible.
19th, 15 down for the weekend. So he
shot-
shot 11 down, and he shot 11 down in the first round and shot 4 down the next 2.
Honestly, to be where he's at from the injury, just like a year later, is crazy.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. That's awesome. I do know that there's a few players like Ty Love. The second day, or no, sorry, it was the last day. The morning was, or the first groups that went out were way less windy, like significantly, and so their rounds were so much better. I think that is, man, that's just crazy to think about. Like just the disadvantage that's, you can't control that type of stuff, but it definitely
I've asked this question to some other people before, and obviously, like, I don't think that disc golf is at that point yet. But in 4-round tournaments, at least, I know that obviously they want to have like the lead cards be the one with people that they know, the ones that are going to drive views because they get so many views from YouTube. Do you think that like for majors or for 4-round tournaments that they should let, set the tee times where they flip the guys that play that play the late rounds play the early rounds on Saturday and vice versa? So that way, if there is any weather change, whether it's like super rainy in the morning and then it's not as rainy in the afternoon or things like that, to kind of level out the playing field so that way it's not like these guys are always having to play at the same time. Like maybe they have to change their routine, get up earlier, anything like that. What are y'all's thoughts?
Well, I have two things. One is weather's unpredictable. In most cases. And so if you're trying to accommodate for weather, I think that's just a hard thing to do. And then second of all, the incentive to play good is to wake up later and be able to do your routine. So play better if you want to play later.
Well, and it gets to happen on, the second 2 days. That's why I'm saying like for just the 4-round tournaments. I think it's something that as the sport grows, because if they're going to have more 4-round tournament, because normally, like on a PGA Tour weekend, you've got 4 rounds, you've got a cut line after the first 2. So Rory McIlroy, if he tees off at 10 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, he might tee off at 3 o'clock on Friday. And then depending on where he's at after the cut line determines his tee time for Saturday, and then same thing for Sunday.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm saying we kind of do that with the B pool for Worlds. You know how like they play the different courses. I mean, they kind of do that in a way where it's like the first 2 days you're playing opposite, and then that kind of determines what happens the last 2 days. I don't mind it. I think it'll definitely bring less viewers to the live, which I don't know how many people watch the first 2 days anyways live.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as long as you're filming good cards, I wouldn't mess with the cards too much in terms of like, if you're going to switch.
Obviously, like you want, like they can still kind of set it up where like you're not going to have Calvin and Paul and Ricky and AB and Ezra and everybody play in the morning and then have the Kevin Kiefers and Emerson Keiths and lesser known guys or lesser viewed guys play in the afternoons on the lead cards. So like you could still spread them out, but make it where like before there's a cut line, rather than just automatically letting your score get to be the latest card the second day, let it be morning and afternoon, flip flop, and then be score for the last 2 days.
I think I misunderstood. I think so you're saying like before the tournament starts, you know what time you're going to tee off on Thursday and Friday?
Yeah.
And that doesn't change based on how you do?
No. So if the tee times go 8 to 12, Thursday your 8 o'clock tee time, Friday your 12 o'clock tee time, regardless of your score.
Okay.
Saturday,
and then the cards
Saturday,
Friday and Saturday.
Cards would be the same. Cards would be the same both days. And
Okay.
you tee off in the morning, or you tee off in the afternoon. And then for Saturday, Sunday, then it goes lowest scores tee off earliest, high, or however you want to say it.
Okay.
The last place after the cut line tees off first. Lead card tees off last.
Yeah, I'm not totally against that.
Yeah, I think that could be useful. I don't think it's necessarily for the weather. I don't think the weather really affects it that much in terms of, because it's just like Corbin said, it is random. I know mornings typically are a little more windy, typically, but and I
Depending
know
on where you go.
Yeah, but also it's with FPO in the mornings that does change it for just normal events. So
True.
I think it could also get people to stick around, because like if Paul's going to tee off at noon, and then Anthony Barella is going to tee off at 3. Well, okay, I can get there at noon. I can watch Paul, and by the time Paul gets done, I can flip back around, and then I can go and I can watch AB. I don't have to just show up late, just see all the guys that are going to be playing later in the afternoons, and not watch any of those first guys.
I mean, I wouldn't mind like Saturdays, because like there's sometimes Saturdays I'm just like waiting to watch the final round. It's like 3:00. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, it's like the whole day. But I wouldn't mind a little like 10 a.m. getting to watch disc golf, like disc golfers I want to watch. That's not bad. But
Sure.
Yeah, there's something there. I think you'd have to figure that out. I think it could be the future too of that. So, okay. Anything else? I want to go through this, just the order real fast. And then if you have anything else real quick, we can kind of talk about it. But in first place, Anthony Barella. My fantasy team is absolutely getting so blessed by this man. It's crazy. If imagine somebody had Braden who had 2 aces.
I was thinking about
Waden. Oh, my bad. Waden. That's my fault. Dude.
It wasn't Braden or Landon.
Ezra Aderhold, shout out, second place, or tied for second with Ben Calloway and Calvin.
He's had a couple of good weeks.
Ezra's had a great week. That was a great week for him. So happy to see him up there. Just looking so jacked. He just makes our sport look so good. You know what I'm saying? Like people watch it and they're like, okay, that guy's an athlete. And then you see like Nathan Queen and you're like, okay, what are we doing here?
Wow. Anybody can play this sport.
Catching strays. Not a bad way, dude. We love you, Nathan. We love you. You and Jada, or whatever her name was.
Jana.
I'm sorry. Jana. Thank you.
Jana
Booth. Hey, shout out Jana Booth. We'll be seeing you next time. So Calvin and Ben Calloway also tied. And then Simon in fifth. Albert Tom made an appearance, sixth place. Chris Dick, Gavin Babcock, Gannon Burr, Mason Ford, and Isaac Robinson. I do want to talk about Gannon for a second, because I was getting a little peeved watching this dude play disc golf. And this is why. Gannon, you're the Luka Doncic of disc golf. You cry about every single thing, and it drives me absolutely nuts. If you were watching live, you would hear this. And the commentators were like having a hard time with this, I could tell. But he had like 4 or 5 spit outs that were just, he threw them like a million miles an hour, high chain, and they fell out.
I saw one of those ones that hit high left that would, like, he putted pretty hard and it didn't stick, and he kind of threw his hands up.
There wasn't really any that he threw that I was like, ooh, that's a bad spit out. Like, they were just bad putts that missed. And he was just, this sucks, dude. These baskets are terrible. And I'm like, it just looks so bad. It's like honestly, Ben Calloway's was actually more of a spit out than any of Gannon's. And I'm like, Gannon's just crying about the baskets. And I love what Ken Climo said, because I don't know if you watched that interview, but he was like, these people who putt nowadays, they need to learn pace, because like Gannon just throws every putt as hard as possible.
He needs to learn touch.
So that way
they could just take out a few of the chains, make it a little smaller.
What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on Gannon's kind of crying? Anything?
It's kind of his MO. I feel like he's done it, he likes to cry about the baskets not holding his putt, but he does throw his putts 70 miles an hour, it seems like. And so,
right.
It's a law of diminishing returns. For everyone that he has kind of spit out, he's also making 90-footers look really easy. And so I think that's just the price of the way he putts. Like, he's going to make a lot of circle 2 putts, but he's also going to have some spit outs that might have caught if he didn't putt it as hard. Whining about it doesn't do anything, though. Just, like, he's known as one of the top putters in the world. Like, just make a slight adjustment.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm with you guys on, like, it just kind of makes it so hard to watch. Like, you hate when people just complain. Like, there's this, like, it happens in basketball a lot, like you're saying with Luka. I think LeBron went through a period where it was like that, and he's kind of gotten off of it, thankfully, where I feel like I don't see it as much.
Yeah.
But, like, it even happens, like, fans cry about random stuff, and it's just like, control you can control, and if you can't control it, then it's your fault. Like,
Yeah. And
like,
that's the thing about baskets is they're like, it's literally the definition of fair. Like, you have to learn certain baskets, and being disc golfers, we know this. Prodigy baskets catch different than Discraft baskets, catch different than veterans. Like, know the
DGA.
know the basket, but also, if it's like spitting out the middle, dude, I'm with you. Like, that sucks.
mhm.
Like,
the
spit out that he had at Waco, like, where it, like, literally, like, hit and it got up on edge and went through the middle. That's out of your control.
Right.
Yeah.
But hitting high left with a really hard putt, it's not going to catch. We know that.
Yeah. And so, it just, like you said, it just looks bad.
Yeah. I mean, if I hit chains on the left side of the basket at all, like, I can hit all the chains on the left side of the basket, and I'll still feel lucky if it goes in. Like,
Yeah,
that's just
100%.
the nature of almost every basket. Prodigy baskets are probably the most forgiving as far as left side catches.
Yeah.
But I mean, you hit left side of the basket as a right hand player who puts on hyzer or flat, you're done. Like, you're
Unless it's
lucky if it goes in.
the low left corner pocket.
Exactly. I mean, putt
If
low, sure.
If you can
but,
catch
like,
low left corner pocket, you might be okay. If you're hitting
yeah,
up in this area, it's not happening.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't cry about a missed shot. If you're gonna complain that you suck and, like, you're, like, crying about your own performance, then that's something. But if you're blaming equipment for a bad shot, then
Right.
there's a different thing there.
It's silly. So, anyways, I just had to get that off my chest. Gannon, do better, man.
You
Do
better.
better. You're better than that,
Also,
bro.
if we're talking about Corbin's predictions, I did say out of him and AB would be the first to drop out of the top 4, and that happened this
Dang.
week.
Hey, you did that one for AB, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
Okay. I think that's
I
it
want
for
to talk
me.
about a player
Okay.
since you got to talk about a player.
Sure.
Richard Wysocki.
Oh, I didn't even think about Ricky.
Richard Wysocki. Pretty sure I picked him to win the tournament. Or actually, I picked AB, but he was like a sneaky guy. But 9 down first round, even second round, 8 down final round. Just had a stinker of a middle part of the weekend. Kind of sad, honestly. I wanted him to do well. I'm not a huge Ricky fan. Never been a Ricky fan, but I think I want to see him compete because I think he has that ability, and I like to see competition. And so, him having a bad second round was kind of disappointing.
I agree. That was a bummer. I remember seeing him up there after round 1, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
like, he's going to be in this.
James Conrad did the same thing, 9 down even, and then he shot 4 down on the final day instead of 8. But it was just, I guess that second day
Hurts him
for some guys.
It seems like there was just a handful of guys that kind of did that, because Paul Macbeth was right there on the edge of the cash line and then shot even in the final round. I mean, Isaac Robinson shot even in the final round after having the hot round on Saturday. I mean, even Jeremy Colling was up there kind of in contention after 2 rounds, and then just or after the first round, and then shot one over on Sunday. Yeah, he shot 9 down on Saturday, shot one over on Sunday, and finished at 12 under for the weekend.
Yeah, guys, it's getting hard to see Paul, man. Me and Corbin were talking about this.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch the fall of Paul.
Fall ball. It's putting, honestly. I mean,
coming from somebody who has had shoulder issues and shoulder injuries, and things like that, he's opted to not get the surgery, and stem cells take a minute. And honestly, it's not the actually throwing part; it is the putting part. It's just compressing that shoulder joint, and anytime we're just moving that arm forward straight up and trying to get that putt through there, that's one of those things that bothered me for the long time. And so as a Paul fan, I'm hopeful that he ends up working through it, ends up figuring it out. But hopefully it's not a Will Schustrick kind of thing where it ends up happening and then just goes to being the face of Discraft's,
Hey,
team captain.
Next video, I'm gonna send you guys some stuff, but we're gonna do let's talk a little bit more about Paul's career, and maybe I'll send some questions your way. If you guys have questions you want us to answer about Paul, maybe even like, is he the GOAT? Those type of conversations. I would love to go a little deep dive on Paul and some of his successes and some of his failures. Would be fun to talk about. So we'll do that next time for sure.
Bet.
Last person I wanted to just shout out real fast. I actually thought this guy would I thought Jason Newman would actually show up and be something here. He's 963 rated from Arkansas. Just shout out to him, man. Shout out to my guy.
Again.
Shot a 15 over for the
weekend.
15 over for the weekend. So next time, you're good. All right, prediction time. Music City. The bells are ringing. The guitar is playing. Who we got? Let's talk about that.
Chris Dickerson.
Ooh. Stole his pick like that. That's crazy.
Just took it right off my plate. Like I didn't just cook it up earlier.
I had to say it before Corbin did.
I made my meal and you just stole it off my plate. That's crazy.
If you want to take Chris Dickerson, I'll say Mason Ford then.
No, you can take him. I don't think he's gonna win. I just think he's like a top 3 type of guy, but whatever. Who's your flop, Ryan? Who's flopping next week?
Let's see. What determines a flop? Like well below their rating? Like a guy that we think might be a top 20, finishing way outside the top 20.
Like someone you would see where they landed and you would go, ooh, that's a flop.
Yeah. Like a consistent top 20 guy not cashing, like that's tough.
I don't know. I'm looking at who played this weekend and trying to see. Somebody else go. Give me a second.
Okay. Music City. I think Isaac's gonna take Music City. Prodigy back on top, baby. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I leave and they just start rising.
Isaac Robinson takes Music City. My floppity flop. I'm sorry, but Calvin's gonna have a rough week without the forehand. So I'm gonna say Calvin. He struggles to get in the top 20, so maybe on that edge there.
Dang.
I think anything higher than that would be tough to consider a flop. So that's why I'm saying that.
2 things. Simon is signed up for Music City.
Okay.
So Simon should be there. And This week is the return of Eagle McMahon.
Give me Eagle.
Oh,
So
I'm just
no,
kidding. I'm just
I
kidding.
forgot about that.
no. So I'm gonna switch mine. I'm actually gonna say Eagle. Eagle will actually. I think he'll finish top 15.
Okay, I was like,
Not for the
he
win.
wins.
Not for the win. But he finishes top 15 in his first tournament back.
That wouldn't
Alright.
even surprise me, honestly.
Let me finish it off here. I'm gonna go winning Music City, Ricky Wysocki. I like it. I like it, dude. That feels so right to me. And then flopping, little flippity flopsters, Simon for sure.
Mm.
Dude, he's
He also
going.
dealt with injury this week. Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, his back injury. He's
Yeah,
not playing
back
the skins
injury.
match. He's
So
not playing or didn't play
that
skins
might affect
match
him next
today.
week. It's a good flop.
Flop.
And if he has to pull out, if he has to DNF because he's got to go have a baby, not him, of course, but I'm gonna take Nicholas as my flop again. I think I picked him last week as my flop, and he finished not too great.
That
So
makes sense.
Say Gavin Rathman aces.
I feel like I recall Corbin being like, these Dismania boys are not gonna finish outside the top 10 for.
Look,
He said
he
Nicholas was a part of the top 3 that looked the best in all
where
of disc
was
golf right now.
Kyle Klein
Didn't he?
finished in 27?
Did he not?
He did. He looked good.
I mean, he did whenever he won, but at Texas State's and this week, I don't think Nicholas has finished inside the top 30.
He's just waiting. He's just giving other people a chance.
He's waiting.
He's doing
Yeah, I like that. He's a kind guy for that. Honestly.
fighting for the finish, if you know what I mean. Boom.
Oh, my bad. He didn't finish inside the top 60 the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He got 67th at Texas State's and 61st this week.
That's tough.
Me and him have been in a slump. I think we are like on the same.
You're like a voodoo doll. For
Nicholas.
I'm not gonna lie. The last round got me worried for Corbin. We finished and Corbin's like, I think I'm quitting, bro.
After y'all played yesterday.
Yeah,
it was.
I almost
tough,
went
bro.
out today just to hash it out with my discs.
Just
but-
throw.
We played the wood. We played. Never mind. People don't need to know this, but we played the
it's okay.
woods, and it was disgusting, and we lost discs. It was bad. So, anywho, that's it for this episode here of the Chain Out. And next week we got the Music City Open. It's gonna be a good time. We'll catch you there. Make sure you stay tuned. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing. Make sure to watch our videos that are dropping every single week. And we'll catch you next time on Mactown Disc Golf. Bye. Mwah.